Here I was, this guy with a past of exercising 4 to 5 times a day, grinding it out in the gym, pushing myself to the limit, and also eating meat 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day, trying to get the protein so my muscles could get big and strong. And now I was trying to change my life and become more spiritual and make that the priority. Hello friends, my name is Vas Solo. I'm a recovered drug addict and alcoholic and a certified meditation coach. And the big question is, how can people like you and I, who are in recovery from addiction, who want to be happy, joyous, and free, what are the things that we need to do in order to be successful and to grow into who we are meant to become? That is the big question, and this show will give you the answer. About 30 minutes ago, I was in bed, lying down, completely exhausted and thinking, how on earth am I going to record another video? And I was starting to second guess my commitment to this one video a day thing. But then I said, you know what? You have nothing to lose. Grab the camera, grab the lights, let's do this. And I thought, what am I going to talk about? And so I decided that I was just going to talk about what I did today and how that ties into my recovery and my spirituality. So actually, the reason I was so exhausted is because my wife and I, who she has a day off today, we went to the gym and we lifted some weights. We did some back, chest, bis, tris, core. And for those of you who are not familiar with what I do or my history, I've actually been a personal trainer for the last 8 years, and I've been into fitness for about 12, ever since I was 18. And the way I got into fitness was I was overweight from the age of 9 until the age of 18, and at a certain point, I got sick and tired of the way I felt, of feeling insecure about my body, and I started to exercise. And that started my passion for fitness. That's how I got into training, and then I got into training other people. And for a long time, fitness was a huge passion of mine. And it was funny because I was living this double life when I was an addict. I was going to the gym regularly, eating very healthy, but on the weekends, I would binge drink, I would smoke cigarettes, I would do cocaine. And then on Monday, I'd go back to the gym and repeat the cycle. And I was also training clients, and, I was supposed to be this example of health, of discipline for those people, but they didn't know I had this secret of, doing the things that I did on the weekend. And after a while, as my addiction progressed and it got worse and worse and worse, fitness started to take less of an important place in my life, and the drugs took over. But I never completely stopped going to the gym or exercising. I always found at least a couple of days a week to do so, no matter how bad my binges were. Then once I got into the program, and I stopped using drugs and drinking, and I started to live a spiritual life, I sort of got back into fitness quite heavily. I became, once again, really focused on going to the gym and eating healthy. And part of that was really wanting to look a certain way. It was partly being healthy, but partly, having a six-pack and having a muscular body and trying to rebuild what I had in my early to mid-20s, because I had lost some of that because of the lifestyle I had been leading. But then I began to notice that the vigorous exercise that I was doing was not necessarily compatible with my spiritual life. And I'll explain what I mean by that. First of all, I noticed that I had accumulated certain injuries over the course of my lifting and exercise career. Things like back problems, knee problems, shoulder problems, neck problems. And so all of these things would flare up anytime that I exercised. And when these things flared up, they made it more difficult for me to meditate well. For example, if my back was tight, after a deadlift workout, it was harder for me to sit with my back straight and to forget the body as I tried to meditate. So that became an issue. Now I had this conflict that I was facing of, I love to exercise, I want to rebuild myself to look a certain way, but at the same time I have this other path that I'm on where I want to go deeper within and to have deeper spiritual experiences. And so the two became incompatible. I was also starting to change the way I ate. I was transitioning into eating a vegetarian diet because, similar to how I was exercising and noticed that it wasn't compatible with my meditation, I started to notice that when I ate a certain way, it was also either compatible or incompatible with meditation. For example, eating a steak a couple of hours before trying to meditate, I noticed that it was a lot harder for me to elevate into those higher states of awareness. And that's why I started to become vegetarian. So, here I was, this guy with a past of exercising 4 to 5 times a day, grinding it out in the gym, pushing myself to the limit, and also eating meat 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a day, trying to get the protein so my muscles could get big and strong. And now I was trying to change my life and become more spiritual and make that the priority. And so I had this long period of several years where I had to make this gradual transition and to let that part of myself go. To the point where today I barely lift weights. If I ever do exercise and do resistance training, it's usually body weight stuff like push-ups, sit-ups, rows with my TRX. And for the most part, I just try to be healthy. So I go for walks or walk jogs, right? Even with cardio, I try not to exhaust myself because it again makes it hard for me to meditate, to cool my body down enough to meditate well. So I've had to make that transition, and today going to the gym and lifting weights, even though I didn't even push myself as nearly as hard as I normally do, I noticed, right? I came back from the gym and I felt tired. Like all I wanted to do was just lie in bed for a little bit to recover. And normally when I exercise now, I try to work out in a way that I actually feel more energized, because health and good energy is my priority. It's no longer having the six-pack or looking a certain way. So today was a good reminder for me of why I made that transition. And I'm sure that later today, when I do my evening meditation, I'm going to notice some of those aches, and it's probably going to be a little bit harder for me to meditate today than it normally is. But it's okay. It's okay. It's all about balance. So I wanted to share that with you today, and I'm glad I didn't skip making the video. Hopefully it'll be an interesting thing for you to watch, and I'd love for you to share in the comments what you've gone through during your spiritual journey, and what are the things that you've had to leave behind that were difficult for you, or maybe the things that you're struggling to leave behind currently. Feel free to share those in the comments. Thank you for watching. Joy to you.